Hello, everybody, and welcome to WCAT. This is a special edition of Community Forum. We're going to do a storm update for the impending blizzard that's going to be affecting Winthrop and the surrounding area in the next 48 hours. Joining me today is our interim town manager slash police chief. Now, how long have you been interim town manager now?
Since April.
Since April.
That's about 9 months?
9 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 months too long, but just joking. It's been enjoyable.
Terry is joining us. Steve Calla, the DPW Director. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
And this is your first snowstorm as fire chief, is it not?
Of this magnitude.
Of this magnitude. Scott Wiley of the Winthrop Police Fire Department, and also you're the Emergency Management Director.
Correct.
And we'll get into that in a few seconds, but let's talk to the town manager. Where do we stand? What is the latest forecast, and what should be the concerns of the residents of Winthrop?
So, first of all, they're in great hands with department heads like Steve and Scott and John Goodwin, my deputy at the police department. We all met yesterday afternoon, yesterday morning to try to make sure we had all our preparation work done. All of our vehicles are in good shape. Again, thanks to Bob DeLeo, who came out with some money from the state to replace almost every single DPW vehicle in our fleet. So that's a great asset to have. We don't have to worry about trucks catching fire or breaking down as we had in the past. And with 24 plus inches possibly in Winthrop, that certainly is always on our mind, our equipment, and also what's on our mind is our personnel. This is going to be a long duration storm. Steve's personnel was cut last year for DPW members through the budget process, and he's had openings as well that he couldn't fill this year. So personnel on the DPW side is a concern. He has some extra contractors coming in, and he can get into that. And Scotty has extra firefighters coming in. We do have an additional vehicle for police and fire. The high water vehicle that Homeland Security granted us last year, and that will be available to all of us in case any rescues need to be made. We don't think the flooding is going to be an issue, but I'll let Chief Wiley go into more detail about that. But we're ready, we're prepared. The police, fire, and DPW are all mobilized. G&J Towing will be in town tonight at midnight. Yeah. So it will be ready to go as soon as they get in town. We'll be tagging and towing. We're going to be aggressive on tagging and towing. We want everything off the street. We want DPW to be able to do their job, especially when it's coming down to 2 to 3 inches an hour. Seeing in that visibility is very difficult. They don't need any obstructions on the road.
Right. So the parking ban goes into effect at 10.
10 p.m. tonight. Yes.
Okay. Yep. And obviously, we'll see where this all leads when it's going to be lifted. I was watching on television. There are a lot of DPW directors throughout the state that are very shy with workers, and they have to bring in outside, companies to help. How confident you are that you're going to be on top of this thing?
We'll stay on top of it. Like Terry alluded to, we do have personnel issues. I mean, we don't have the depth to be able to work in shifts. I wish I did. Yeah. It is going to be a long duration storm. We expect to be out midnight tonight till probably midnight tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's all hands on deck. So we brought in three contractors, which it's been super competitive this year. We tried to get more outside contractors. Yeah. Every municipality in the area, including Massport and other agencies, are hiring contractors. Yeah. So, of course, money talks.
Oh yeah.
We do well. We try to give a fair rate, but they're going to go where the money is, and that's the way it is. But I'm confident. I'm confident in my crew. We got a good crew. I got a young crew, so. The experience isn't where I wish it would be, but the experience in management is there, and we'll continue to do it the way we do it. Message I do want to get out there is the bulk of our snowstorm is going to be 6 a.m. to probably 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Whiteout conditions. It's difficult enough, when we have the roads to ourselves. pedestrians out and about or people out there thinking they're going to shovel inch by inch. It's I would ask that they try to keep their cleanup till the end of the storm. We have to go curb to curb. We have to clear catch basins. So, you know, I know there's frustration with residents in the past that, you know, I've spent all this time clearing my driveway and you
they
come
just
right
came
back
by,
and you plow me in. There's no way to control that.
Right.
You know, and that's why, you know, we ask that, you know, refrain from throwing snow on the street with snow blowers, direct it onto your property, and really try to wait until the snow has stopped, and even about 2 hours beyond the storm stopping to really go out there and try to do the bulk of your work, because it is going to be frustrating. We're gonna continue to come by and continue to. When I leave here, you know, at the end of the storm, we have to be curb to curb. I have to have storm drains exposed. I have to have water boxes exposed, and knock on wood that we don't have a water main break, but it happens, and we can't go looking for valves, you know, during that. So these are the reasons we do what we do. And you know, any as much you know, cooperation that we can get from the public, it's going to be better for everybody in the long run, including police, fire, and everybody else that needs to respond.
Sure. Now, Scott, there's been a lot of concern as soon as people see blizzard, you know, high tide, low tide, whatever the case may be, people are watching it to see when the brunt of the storm is going to be there. Is it going to be during high tide? What's the dangers that we're going to face here, or maybe not face?
All indications are the timing of the storm is working in our favor. So when we're at peak high tide, the storm is projected to still be south of Nantucket. As it moves, makes its closest pass to us, we should be close to low tide, an astronomically low tide. And by the time next high tide cycle rolls around 8:30, 8:40 tomorrow night, it's already projected to be 2 feet lower than the day high tide, and this storm should be up in the Gulf of Maine. So if everything plays out according to as we project right now, that we should not have any flooding concerns. The winds will be out of the east and the northeast. That's Shore Drive, up against Shore Drive, which the revetment has made tremendous success at assisting everybody along Shore Drive. It would be that east-northeast facing side of Point Shirley and around Deer Island. So anybody in the Morton Street area, the Pico Ave area, those where they were inundated 4 or 5 years ago, should not be an issue this time. We don't see it at all being an issue.
Okay. Now, this thing is just forming. I guess it's off the Carolinas, and, you know, still there's a lot of questions as to how much snow we're going to get. Will it slow down, build up more momentum, where it might now coincide with a high tide in Winthrop? How do you look at that and the need to get to the residents again if there's a change?
So we have the reverse 911 system, so we will implement that. Again, if there's a change that's going to injure people or property, would be out there with bullhorns. We have the high water rescue truck, would be activating that.
Okay.
We don't see that in this particular storm at this particular time, as Chief Wiley has
the consensus opinion now, it's really starting to come together, and they can pretty well, there are no real outliers. Nobody's saying, you know, this thing is going to happen at high tide. It's not. Everybody seems to be on the same page. Timing-wise, this looks like it's going to be, like I said, south of Nantucket when we're at high tide, right over us at low tide, and then further off up in Maine, as long as it doesn't stall, which I haven't seen any outliers. I have a 3 o'clock conference call with MEMA today with their last update before the storm, and I'll know better by then, but I haven't heard anything about anybody projecting it stalling out over us.
Okay.
I think that's important to make sure everyone's aware. Steve has his associations that report into him. Chief Wiley has MEMA reporting into him. The police are on the MEMA calls as well. So it's not just we're listening to the local forecasts, which are usually very reliable. We're also talking to state and federal experts that are watching the storm. National Weather Service is on these calls. Harvey Leonard is usually a frequent person on these calls, giving us the latest and the greatest details, and we were on those calls yesterday. We'll be on them today. We'll be on them tomorrow. Our emails, they'll alert us by email if there's a quick change in anything. So, you know, we monitor this stuff constantly. throughout any type of storm like this. So, you know, we're prepared for flooding, even though we don't expect it down Pico. We brought in a generator for the actual substation down there for Steve's substation. So we have that. We're ready to go with a generator down there to make sure that keeps pumping down there. So we've thought just about everything here. We've communicated with the schools, even though there's no school on the weekends, but just to see, hey, do you have available people to shovel in case someone calls us and needs someone to shovel?
Right.
So we're coordinating with the high school and the superintendent on that, and making sure, again, we're fully open on Monday for kids to return to school on Monday, town hall to be open on Monday, which, you know, Steve will make those parking lots a priority, but other municipal lots will not be a priority. Those will be the priorities. And then Monday, hopefully, when everyone's back in, we'll continue those other lots, such as the George Street lot and stuff like that.
Okay. Other than the town, you know, the town hall lot, so forth, what's the guideline in terms of when those vehicles have to be out after the snowfall?
6 daylight hours after the snow stops.
Okay. 6 daylight hours. All right. Now, one other thing they're talking about is a lot of wind. So if we do have some power outages, do you anticipate maybe we might have to open up the senior center or anything like that?
So we wouldn't do the senior center only because there's no generator down there.
Oh, I thought
so
we had one.
we do the Cummings School.
Okay.
Scotty, Chief Wiley has been in coordination with the superintendent on if we have to open that. We are ready and able to open that.
Okay.
Again, that lot will then turn to a priority and be plowed immediately and cleaned often because it's a shelter lot. So again, we don't anticipate that, but we don't know what the wind and the high winds, some of, you know, higher than 65 miles, 75 miles an hour. At some of the peaks, we could lose transformers, we could, you know, have trees down.
We did bring in, I should have mentioned, we did coordinate Pathfinder Tree will be in town from 5 a.m. tomorrow morning until we release them. So
Okay.
we'll have a separate tree crew that won't take away from DPW functions on the plowing, and you know, we'll use them as needed.
Okay.
And I think it's important for everyone to understand when you're running a small, tight crew like Steve does at DPW, everyone's plowing, and we can't even cover all the plow routes.
Right.
So we bring in 3 contractors to help with the plow routes. But then again, you got to worry about other things like trees. So we can't pull people off plow routes to worry about trees. So we bring in a contract service provider in for that storm. You know, so it's, I don't want people to think, oh, just bringing all these contractors in.
Yeah, no, I
they're needed
Right.
to handle this magnitude of a storm.
Okay. And the gates, I understand, at Short Beach will be closing at midnight?
Midnight.
Midnight. Okay.
And that'll go all the way through Sunday.
So it seems that you got things under control, that the storm is going to be a serious storm, but it's not going to impact us like some others have.
There's going to be some impact.
In terms of flooding
there will
and
not
stuff
be.
like
We don't
that.
anticipate any significant flooding at all. There may be some splashover in some areas. There may be some minor, but not even moderate.
Okay.
One of the things I just wanted to reiterate was, if we were to stand up the shelter, in all likelihood, it wouldn't be Saturday. At the peak of the storm, if you lose power in the peak of the storm, you're going to have to be prepared to hunker down and shelter in place, because we won't have the ability to get you to a shelter.
Exactly.
It would probably be, if we were to lose power and a significant amount of power, something that gets set up on Sunday to take people for the duration until there were a restoration of power. Just getting the people to the shelter, or getting people to staff the shelter, is probably going to be relatively impossible during the height of the storm tomorrow.
Okay. Good point.
You know,
Good point. So it seems to me that people should, if they're not signed up for the 911 notification, they should be signed up on it, which they can do at any time. They can go on the town website, I understand, and sign up there. I know I get it at the house and also on my cell phone, which is important. Because that will be the way to communicate, maybe also through...
You know, Facebook, I know some people don't do Facebook, so we got to think about more than people that are on Facebook, but our town website, we'll update our town website and Facebook throughout the storm if needed. You know, but you know, a storm of this magnitude and 24 inches, other things concern us. So we talked about the plowing and the trees and everything else, but you know, venting and making sure that your tailpipe is clean before you get in it and start it up to warm it up. That's a concern always in these storms. Your exhaust pipe to your house.
Yeah, for gas.
For
Gas
gas.
heat, yep.
Make sure that stays clean and help out with hydrants. If you have a hydrant near your house, clean out the hydrant for the fire department. We saw in Boston the other night how the firefighters were fighting in sub-degree temperatures, and the water was freezing on them. If we can help them out a little bit by clearing the hydrant, let's do that. And your handicap ramps, as always, please clean your handicap ramps. Scotty, Chief Wiley, did I touch about everything?
That'll be part of our, so we've increased our staffing starting Friday night, Saturday night, and into Sunday. Sunday will be for cleanup for us, as the town manager said. We have a little over 450 hydrants in the town. Steve would probably know exactly how many, but we believe it's in the area of 450. We've got to shovel every single hydrant in the town to make sure they're clear. If you have one near your house, clear it. If you have a hydrant near your house, don't bury it. Don't bury the hydrant. First of all, it's a life safety issue. Second of all, it's a $100 fine for burying a hydrant. And if you were to lose power, alternative means of heating, please be extremely careful. Space heaters. You hear every year tragic stories about people running a generator inside a garage, carbon monoxide. Just common sense stuff. Make sure you have batteries. Make sure you charge all your electronic devices. Make sure you have candles or flashlights and things of that nature. Stay tuned to the weather. Prescription medications, all that stuff. Make sure you have everything. You could be hunkered down for a day or two.
Yeah, and then, getting back to what Steve said, don't throw your snow on the street. Throw it on your own property. I live in a corner lot and I got a small front lawn. It fills up quick, but I keep filling it up.
Yeah.
So don't throw it back on the public way.
I think that's important. People, you see it all the time, and you can hear the complaints all the time. The truck just came by. They do it in the street, and then you got to take one of your cruisers has to go down and explain it to the people, and it's stuff that shouldn't have to happen.
Years past, they've thrown stuff at the DPW trucks. Please don't do that. They're trying to do their job. As Steve said, we have to go curb to curb. We have to get those catch basins clear and his boxes clear. So there's a reason for it, and that's why we're doing it. That's why Steve's asking for everyone to wait after the storm to do their cleaning so he can make sure the way is clear. Right. Stay off the roadways. If you can, let police, fire, EMS, and DPW operate on these roadways. They're going to be slippery. At times, they're not going to be as clean as we want them to be, so they're going to be dangerous and tricky. So please stay off the road. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. Let us get to where we need to get to, and let us get the job done so everyone can come out of their houses and clean their property and go about their business. Our goal is to make sure our stores are open early on Sunday morning and the streets are clean and clear so everyone can go about their business by Sunday morning.
Okay. Very good. Any final words? No?
Just common sense, be prepared. You're probably going to be hunkered down till Sunday.
Okay. Parking ban at 10 p.m. Midnight, the gates at Short Beach will be closed, so if you're going out to dinner and you're coming in through Revere after midnight, you'll have a problem. You'll have to go around. So care about your neighbors, especially seniors. Make sure you can check on them. Maybe when it comes time to shovel, go out and do some shoveling for them. And hopefully we won't have to be back with any update of anything of proportion getting blown up, in terms of the storm or any flooding and so forth. But they should check the website, the town website, and we'll try to put stuff on Facebook
page,
as well.
Yeah, Facebook, and again, WCT, we always make sure our notifications come here.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And that's it. This is, get ready. It's going to snow.
Thank you.